What is up, you guys? Pete DiCarlo here, and today we're going to talk about how to build wealth as a teenager, a young adult, or somebody like myself, an individual who maybe did not start to get their life together until 30, 40, maybe even 50. The point is to start. Doesn't matter how late in life that happens. I was a late bloomer, but at the end of the day, it was because I employed the things that we're going to talk about in this video that I got to where I am today, and fortunately, in such a short amount of time. It was only when I was 27, 28 that I really started to change my life and really started to focus on these things. And now, as a 32-year-old individual, I run a business that should do about $330,000 this year. I own multiple companies. I have multiple streams of income. You guys know that if you've been watching the channel for a while now. So I want to share that knowledge with you guys. So hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, hit the notification bell, and let's get started. So I broke it down into 10 things, and each one of these are equally important. For some of you, you might just want to skip a couple, or maybe if you're older, you might think like, oh, well, I don't have to focus on some of these more menial things. But to be quite honest, everything on here is important. And the first thing is going to be to look forward. I know this is something that most of you might be like, dude, obviously, right? I'm not going to get rich overnight, but I really want you to understand that. I get so many people, specifically with trading, who come to me and they're like, I understand it's going to take a bit. I understand it's going to take a while. I know I'm not going to get rich overnight. And then 1 to 2 years in, they start to get mad. They start to get fickle. They're like, why is this taking so long to do? And trust me, guys, like, not just with trading, but with all of the countless businesses I started and failed, I really came to a point where I was like, is this right? Like, is this going to happen? And it was only because when I started that I looked forward and I wasn't caring about what was going to happen today or tomorrow, that I actually endured through that. And so I put here, those who endure will be showered in gifts. I believe that was actually Marcus Aurelius, but it's true. If you look at any of your mentors, whatever they are, right? You just look at people like Jeff Bezos, Steve Jobs, even Tim Cook, who's CEO. Not all of that happened overnight. Just look at Jeff Bezos. Look at Amazon. Go back to 1996, 1997. Type in Jeff Bezos' original office photo, and you'll see a photo of him with a small office like the one I have now that just has a spray painted Amazon sign. But it was because he had that dedication and discipline to look forward and to endure everything that happened over the 2.5 decades now that he is where he is. You have to realize that you will likely not be a teenage millionaire or a 22 or 23-year-old millionaire. It's not impossible, but the chances of that happening are very low. Shoot for the moon, but land upon the stars. For me, I would rather get rich for sure than get rich quick. And the second thing is just to live below your means. Probably heard it everywhere, but guys, it's true. Like I said, my company should do about $330,000 to $340,000 this year in revenue. I have multiple income streams, and I live in a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house. My mortgage is $1,600 a month. I drive a 5-year-old Toyota Prius. I could go out and basically buy any car that I want right now. I could basically go out and buy a lot of the houses that I would want, live anywhere in the country that I want, but I don't, right? This is a $40 polo. It's like a $30 haircut. I'm rocking a Fitbit. I don't even have an Apple Watch. And it's not that you live so far below your means that like you just hate your life, because that's not fun. But you need to live off of, I would say, at least 30-40% of your income. If you have kids and stuff, it's completely different. But as a young person, this is important, because so many of your friends are going to be out partying, so many of your friends are going to be out drinking, so many of your friends are going to be pressuring you to go and buy dumb stuff. And, social media is literally a machine that makes you spend money via marketing. So learn to get through that, learn to get around it. I'm not telling you to live a terrible life that's boring and not fun, and don't ever go out drinking with your friends, or don't ever go out on that trip that you want to go on. What I like to do is pick 1 or 2 things that I don't care about spending money on. There's a really good book called I Will Teach You to Be Rich by Ramit Sethi. And in that book, he tells you pick 1 or 2 things. For me, the 1 or 2 things is travel and food. When I go on vacation, I don't care what kind of money I spend on that vacation. When I go out to dinner, or if I'm going to go get food at the grocery store to nourish my body, I don't care what the price is. I will spend $8 on cold pressed juice, as much as it makes me cringe every time I swipe my card to pay that much for something. But those are my 2 things. And you have to realize it is very easy to look rich. I don't want you to be fooled, right? Because there's going to be a section where we talk about fake mentors and how you shouldn't work for them and how to spot them, but it's not hard to look rich. It is hard to be rich. Like I said, I'm not a millionaire. I'm not rich by any standards, but I could afford all of these things, but I don't. And I wrote over here on this little calculator, if you wanted to go get any car, like really any car you could think of, the most it would cost you is what, $2,000 a month to lease or go buy any car of your dreams. Like for me, it'd be like a BMW M4, an Audi R8. Like those would be like $2,000 a month. Any basic house that you want to live in that's not like LA or something, like you could spend $5,000 a month on a penthouse or $5,000 a month on a massive house, basically anywhere in the country. Spend $2,000 a month on clothes and YOLO $2,000 away at bars, traveling every single month. You would only spend $11,000 a month, which is nothing. That's like what, like $110,000, $120,000 a year you would have to make. So there are people out there who are making 120, 130, 140 grand a year. They look rich, but if they're blowing 11 to 12 grand a month, they're not rich. And then you have people like, I know people who are making 60, 70 grand a year and living off of $10,000 and $20,000 a year. They are rich. That's the difference. It's all about income versus expenses. Now, the third is books and courses. And I'm not telling you to buy my course, do any of that, but books and courses, specifically books, changed my life. It is insane the amount of value that you can get from a $10 book, from a free book. Like Napoleon Hill's Think or Grow Rich, that book changed my life. I still read it every quarter. Like every couple of months, I go through the book. It's part of public domain. It's 100% free. You can just type it in. A lot of the books that you might want to read are probably even free on YouTube. So books are cheap, and I put free mentor. Any mentor out there that you want to learn from, like I said earlier, Marcus Aurelius, Napoleon Hill, any of those people, they usually have books, they usually have papers, they usually have videos, they usually have cheap courses, and literally it's like learning for free or cheap from a mentor without them actually being there, right? I like to think that I'm a mentor to one, two, maybe a couple thousand of you guys. All of my videos are free. It's a very easy way for you to take advantage of it through books, courses, YouTube, all of that. But I would never, ever do a free mentorship. I put no free mentorship, but what I mean by this is a lot of people on YouTube will tell you, and myself included, 4 or 5 years ago would say, go out and work for free. Go hit up the best broker in your area. Go hit up the best real estate agent in your area. Go hit up the best whatever, skill or market that you're interested in. Go out and hit that person up and tell them, hey, I'll work for free. I always thought that was the case. And then I talked to my mentor and he was like, that is stupid. Like, think about it this way. If you are a very, very, very successful real estate agent, the best in your area, and some random kid who has no experience, has never worked in the industry, calls you up and is like, hey, I'll work for free, right? As eager as that person is, you are giving up everything and that person is giving up nothing. I, as the business owner, am just getting a body. Right, a warm body, somebody who can work, and then I have to spend all my time and energy to teach that person. So what I've realized is true mentors, true people that you want to be mentored by, this doesn't work with. And we'll talk about that later on. But what I also put here in the notes is to follow 3 people max when you start. There are a lot of people who have conflicting ideas and conflicting methods, and a lot of different ways work. There are a lot of different ways to skin a cat. There are people like myself who say that trading stocks does work, that you should be selling options, that's a great way to make money. There are people who say options are stupid. There are people who say get into real estate, people who say don't, people who say multifamily is, great, people who say single family is great. There are a lot of different ways to make money, but I would say focus 3 people max and just consume all the content from those 3 people. Get to what, the level of competency that you believe you should be at following what they do, then maybe add a 4th, then maybe add a 5th. I see so many people who are following like 20, 30 mentors at a time, and that's just not how it works. You can't fully indulge, and the most important thing, actually execute the systems that those people teach. So that's number 3. Now, number 4, build skills over money. Remember, we're looking forward. We're living below our means, and we're focusing on learning skills through books and courses. When I talk about skills, I talk about things like learning how to sell things, marketing, web design, SEO, social media, Photoshop, things that are broad but will be transferable to anything in business, right? If you learn sales, marketing, web design, SEO, social media, even scratching the surface of those things, every single thing there can be transferred to another business, to any other business that you start. Build those skills first, because I tell my students all the time, if I lost everything that I had in my life today, I could easily get it back because I have all those skills and more. Skills of leadership, right? Learning how to read people. All these things are extremely important. So, use something like Skillshare, use something like YouTube. Skillshare is like $60 a year. It's totally worth it. YouTube is completely free. I don't really personally recommend Masterclass. I've used them before. I don't recommend it because none of those courses actually go deep. It's a very wide platform, like a wide array of things, and then they use celebrities, but none of it really goes deep. The fifth, try everything and fail forward. So this is how you learn and how you build experience. You have to try everything. I've had, a men's fashion blog. I've had social media marketing agencies I've ran before. I've had so many drop shipping companies I can't count. I probably had 10 to 15 businesses that all went up in smoke. Every single time that business went up in smoke, I learned something. And it's only because I was okay with failing. I was okay with losing. I was okay with learning and looking forward and being disciplined and having a longer outlook on my life as far as wealth is considered, that I actually ended up getting to where I wanted to be. So the other big thing too is there's no responsibility at this age, or the responsibility that you have if you're 18 to 22, 23 is very limited. If I'm 33, 34, maybe some of you out there who are 40 watching this, and you have kids and a family and a mortgage and multiple cars, you can't risk everything for that home run play when you're older. So take advantage of it while you're young. Number 6, now is the time to become a mentee or to become an intern. Now that you have some base set of skills, now that you know something about marketing, you have some expertise trying to build some of your businesses, even if they didn't get off the ground, now it's time to go look for a mentor or become an intern somewhere, because now you have something to offer. And any mentor that's worth working under and learning from, you have to offer them something in return. Seek out legit mentors. There is so much scams, so many crappy people out on the internet. When I started, I found a lot of mentors that I thought were mentors, and then once I started working with them, I was like, dude, they are terrible. Like I said earlier, it's very easy to look rich. It's very easy to look successful. So please do your due diligence when you're looking for a mentor. I will do a video in the future about that. Now, number 7, do not focus on the money. I tell all my students, when it comes to trading stocks, skills and systems build wealth. So if you think of it as every single day I sit down at my trading desk and my goal is to make money, emotionally and psychologically things will change. You'll be focused on making money. If you lose money that day, you might get mad, you might get angry, you might revenge trade. But if my focus is just to execute my systems to perfection, if I execute the system to perfection, even if it's a losing day, right? There's a lot of times where I will buy a stock and then I will set a stop loss and it gets stopped out. I did the right thing, even though I lost money. If I focus on building a system and building those skills over time, those skills will build wealth. So don't focus on money, whatever it is, focus on skills. If you're a carpenter, focus on being the best carpenter there is, the best real estate agent, the best banker, the best broker, whatever it is. Focus on being the best, and then the money will follow. The people who are the best in this world are the people who are the richest. The best people, who gets paid the most in football? The best players. So think of it that way. Now, number 8, avoid scams. If it's too good to be true, it probably is. And to be quite honest, many of you will probably get wrapped up in a scam or two. You may have been wrapped up in a scam or two. If you have, comment down below so that everyone else knows that you're not alone. I got wrapped up in many scams, and it's messed up because they prey on your emotions and they prey on why you started the journey. Herbalife, massive scam in my opinion. There is a great movie called Betting on Zero by Bill Ackman. I did Herbalife. I did all these things, and I'm not hating on anybody if you have been a part of Herbalife or you do it, but it's like they pry on your emotions. They pry on, do you want financial freedom to work anywhere in the world, to help people along the way, like all those things. They pry on the emotions, and that's why I hate about this industry of self-development and finance, is that they pry on the reason you started this in the first place. And a lot of people get trapped in a scam. They have a sunk cost fallacy. They can't walk away. They can't say they messed up. They can't say they were duped. They feel humiliated and embarrassed, and they can't walk away from the situation. And then they just quit, and they never go after their dreams ever again. So avoid scams. If you're a part of a scam now, if you've been a part of a scam, look yourself in the mirror, be like, all right, Bubba, it's good. We're all good. We'll walk away. We all make mistakes, and let's move forward from it. So number 9, this is where we're actually going to get into the money part. I know that right now we're like 15 minutes into this, and if you have stayed until now, good for you, because so many people want to build wealth. So many people want to be millionaires and billionaires and just successful in general, and then they don't actually push themselves forward. So if you're still here, congratulations. Number 9, money strategy. The truth is, if you're young, you're probably not making a lot of money, and it's not going to happen overnight. But there are a lot of things that we can employ that will set you up for when you're 25, 26, 27, 28. The first is to try, and I understand you might not be able to, try to live off of 33% of your income. And I do this right now. I actually live right now like off of 20%. Try to live off of 33% of your income. So if you're working at a grocery store, pushing carts, working 30 hours a week, making $1,000 a month, and then you have a side hustle and you're doing all the other things we talked about earlier, live off of $333 a month if you can. Save $333 a month towards long-term investing, and or just a savings account. Have 6 months of your bills paid for already in that account. Then take 33% of it and risk it. Start that business, start that website, start that blog, whatever it is. Start trading stocks. That 33%, as soon as you put that away in your risky account, that's dead money. You don't ever expect to get that money back. Second, start your credit history. Watch my videos. I have tons of videos. I talk about how I brought my credit score from a 650 all the way up to a 730 in 12 months. And now 3 years later, I didn't start credit till when I was 30. Now I'm 33. Now my credit's like an 814, 815, sometimes an 820, but that's Credit Karma. I don't go off of that. So it's very easy to build credit. It really is. It is hard to fix credit, but you always can fix credit. If you're young, it's easy to build it very quickly. I have videos talking about that. The third thing is to start a Roth IRA and compound your money. With a Roth IRA, if you don't know what it is, I'm going to be making a whole video about it. It's essentially a retirement account that is untaxed when you pull out any of your money past the point of 65 years old. And on top of that, you can max it out with $6,000 a year. So the max you can put in is $6,000 a year. You can't put like $50,000 a year in. But even if you don't want to do that, focus on compounding interest. Time is on your side as a younger person. So for instance, let's say you have $5,000 today. You can put $1,000 a month in. Can't do that with a Roth IRA because that would be $12,000 a year. But let's just say a normal broker account that's for the long term. You're buying like S&P 500. And you can get a 9% return year over year, and you do this for 40 years, only putting $1,000 a month in. In the end of that 40 years, so if you're 20, by the time you're 60, you will have $4.211 million off of just $1,000 a month. That's it. Not even trading stocks, not even starting a business, just putting your money in the S&P 500 or Vanguard. That right there is how you get rich for sure. Then the last thing is a little harder, but house hack. I'm going to be making a video on how I house hacked, how I lived for free for like 4 years. But you can do this by, if you're renting a house, rent rooms out, live with your parents. Guys, there's nothing wrong with living with your parents, honestly. I know that as a younger adult, you might hate it. Even if you're 28, 29 right now and you're back at home with your parents because you failed at a business, screw it. Like, living with your parents, there's no shame in it. There really isn't. Especially as they get older, you can take care of them. Don't live with them forever, obviously, but take advantage of it. When you're younger, take advantage of it. And also maybe buy a duplex, rent half out. There's a lot of different things you can do. I'm going to make a whole video on that. And the 10th thing, I don't even know if you can see it down here. Enjoy your life. You will die and your money won't mean shit. I can't curse, but I just did, whatever. You will die and your money won't mean shit. Think about that. We are such a small blip in this universe. The videos that I'm putting out now, the content, the money that I make, the money that you make will mean nothing in 500 years from now if the world is still around. And there's a beauty in it, right? It is important to focus on living the best life you can, to be financially free, because money is an extension of who you are. Right? I will be a lot happier if I don't have to worry about my bills. If I'm a good person, money will allow me to continue to be a good person. If I'm a crappy person, money's just going to, put an exclamation mark on my crappiness. But you have to realize that at the end of the day, money doesn't mean anything. It really doesn't. It really doesn't. And you shouldn't sacrifice your psychological happiness. You shouldn't sacrifice your character. You shouldn't sacrifice your well-being for money. You really shouldn't. Healthy people have a ton of wants and needs, right? You want a new car, you want a new house, you want a new girlfriend, you want a new bike, you want a new phone, whatever it is, new camera. There's only one thing a sick person wants, and that's their health. So you really need to focus on that. Quality over quantity, right? In the beginning of starting my business, I had to work 10, 12 hours a day for like the first 6, 7 months. But then I started to realize, and that has to happen for most businesses. It really does. I'm not going to sit here and tell you can't. But there became a point where that just didn't make sense to do that anymore. It didn't make sense for me to continue to kill myself working because, the quality of my work drastically declined while the quantity of my work rose up. And so for me, what I realize now is I only work 3-4 hours a day, but the quality of time that I spend on my work has exponentially grown my business, grown my support, grown my outreach, rather than just focusing on working 10, 12 hours a day. So do all these things, guys. Reach out to me. I put my email down below. If you guys ever need anything, reach out to me. Watch all of my videos. Watch a ton of other great mentors out there. And just realize that this isn't going to happen overnight. Guys, I hope this video helped. Hit the like button. Subscribe to this channel. Comment down below. I love to hear from you guys. The easiest way for me to curate this channel and this content around you. And guys, thank you so much. I'll see you next time. Peace.